Get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive. I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus, and as usual with me is Terry-Ann and Maureen.
Hi, everyone. This is Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, the other co-creator. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. This is Maureen Joanne Bowen, a willful participant in such a wonderful experience. Welcome.
So for this show, you would see a lot of me. And that's because, you remember when we started our first show for 2026, we did mention that we would chat a lot about our journey and what we are doing at this stage, on the third act stage, and invite you all to journey along with us. So for this show, it's all about my journey, where I am at this stage. And I'm just sharing, this is for me, I celebrate Lent. So I'm just sharing some of my reflections and the inspiration I get from my garden. It's something different, but I hope you enjoy. So what I did a video of me walking through my garden, inviting you to walk through the garden with me as I did some introspection. So here is the video I did.
Hi, friends. Welcome. As I celebrate Lent, I invite you to be part of my conversation on introspection and inspiration from my garden. So those who don't know me, I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus. I know we are all at different stages in our lives. At this stage, which is 70 plus, I really want to strengthen my faith and live a more peaceful and fulfilled life along this journey. So I just thought, this time of Lent is a great time for me to go within, do some introspection, and use my garden and all the elements of nature, the plants, etc., for my inspiration. I love nature. When I am outdoors, I feel very happy. I feel actually energetic. I get that clarity of mind. I can really sit and relax. So I felt, let me ask you or invite you to join me as I move along my garden and do some introspection and, as I mentioned before, inspiration. My goal at this stage, I really have, I would say, for about 3 main areas that I am working on. One is my spirituality, and that's why I'm using this period of Lent to really strengthen that. The other would be my family, my friends, community. And I would say, if I may say, the third one, not in any special order, is my wellness and self-preservation. So, I want to start here by just chatting, and as you may hear, water flowing behind me, and that's because there is what I call a rock wall. Some people call it a weeping wall, which is really a wall that you build for that purpose, so you can have the water run off of it and give you that nice calming feeling. So I want you to join me now as I move along and do some reflection. I want to center myself first before I begin. And to center myself, I will first take a deep breath and then give praise and thanks to God for my life. So at this stage, I breathe in. This allows me to get rid of all the gremlins that might be just lurking around and saying, okay, let me see what I can do to throw her off. So I like to start by centering myself like that. And for me to give thanks and praise to God for being in this lovely space, for being able to chat with you, for having the health to do that. And I ask for guidance and clarity of mind, that I would be inspired as I move around. Yeah. So let's start. And I want to go to the water feature. Okay. Now, when I listen to this water, and I'm sure you are listening, hearing that water flowing. When you look, it's flowing against rocks. But guess what? Looks very happy flowing down to the pond below. When I look at this and listen to the water, I feel, just very calm. That water flowing slowly, but in some cases, it's a bit, much faster than others. So you will see that flow. What it says to me, though, is that, listen, no matter what curve is in the way, what rocks might be in the way, that you can use to reach that goal. There is always a path for us, but we have to be positive about it. We have to look at the positives and not the negatives. So I would say the lesson here is for us to face fear with feet. Don't let the size of the problem scare you. Stay focused and you will find a path towards your goal. Okay. So let me move around and take you with me as I go through my garden and be inspired by nature and the entire atmosphere. So I want to go at this stage. Let's look at the flowers. When you look at the flowers, they are all different types. We have the trees. Let me go to some of the flowers. Yeah. I love these. Of course, the nice bright red of the chiconia. And what these flowers say to me is that they are so pretty. They look so confident. They are happy to be alive. And quite rightfully so, because you know, we use flowers a lot to make bouquets, to decorate spaces, to make others very happy. I also many times will cut some of my flowers and put in my vase at home. Just when I get up and I look at them, I feel very, very good. But guess what? When I think of these flowers and what a beautiful arrangement they make, I think of their lifespan. And I am saying, you know, we accept the fact that when we receive flowers, that they won't last for long. They have a short lifespan, but we enjoy them. It have me thinking, why are we afraid to die? And I'm saying we, because I have that fear of death or fear of aging. Why can't we be like the flowers? Enjoy our life now. Do the things that make us happy and accept the fact that aging and dying are just inevitable. Now I know that's easier said than done. So guess what? That is one of the areas I'm working on. And by working on my faith, I hope that I can accept, just live in the moment, as I say. Live in the moment and don't be scared of that. Because I'm telling you, when I'm ill, the first thing I think about is dying. But we have to call on our faith. I look at the trees also. The different shapes of leaves, all the leaves are different shape. You have the palm tree. We do have the bamboo, the other type of plants, have soursop, pawpaw. We have the green fig, bananas, guava, etc. All these trees, they have different types. Some have very strong roots, others are a bit not as strong, but they all in harmony, living in harmony, enjoying each other's company. They may be different species, but yet still they live together. And I wonder, can we do the same? Why can't we do the same? Why are we so judgmental? To be friendly, selfish, that all trees, nature, these trees are all essential to our life on earth. Don't you think we are all essential? I believe, like plants, we all have a role to play to build a better society. I try not to be judgmental and to use my God-given talent to contribute to the areas where I can make a positive difference. When I sit and I watch this luscious landscape with all the natural elements, I feel grounded and a peaceful aura surrounds me. This leads me to connect to my inner being and find that clarity and spiritual connection. What do you do to connect to your inner self. The lesson I've learned is that I should create that quiet space where I can go within and declutter my mind. So you should really try and do the same. Live purposefully and remain grounded in faith. I want us at this stage to go and look at the cacti. I have different types, and I find cacti to be very interesting. I have a lot of admiration for them. They always appear to be at peace, very happy with their size, and very self-sufficient and comfortable in their space. So I asked the question, how many of us have these qualities? I definitely don't have that quiet and peaceful personality. I am self-sufficient and confident, but also a go-getter. I find myself very anxious at times, wanting things done within a short period of time. So I should really learn to take time to relax, to have faith, to know that I am enough and I don't need to be rushing around. So guess what? I have decided that I have to take action, take some inspiration from the cactus, do some things that I haven't been doing before. Try before I go to bed, listen to some music, do some breathing exercises, look for a more quiet type of hobby. And I thought of doing either crochet or macrame, where I could sit and just focus on doing that one activity and not get myself all excited. Yeah? So I would like to take you along my ivy wall, because for me, this really inspires me as I walk along. I remember in the early days when I wanted this wall, and I planted just about 4 little plants, thinking, well, I don't know whether they will grow or not. And guess what? But after some time, a few years, it became a beautiful wall. And what is great about it, I can hang plants along the wall. And guess what? When I look at this wall, I see endurance. You know, I find this entire wall is wall to me of connectivity, of friendship, of growth, and love. So I am inspired because this is what I want for myself. I spoke about one of my goals, really about community and family and friends, that connectivity. So the lesson here is that growth does not stop with age. We have to continue to grow and learn. So don't give up on your dreams. Well, I thank you for allowing me to share this aspect of my Lenten journey, where I could have done some introspection, inspiration, and share some of the lessons I learned from my guide. I would like to close with just a short prayer. God, I ask you to be our light, to guide our days, and to let your spirit bring us peace. So, see you soon.
As you all would notice, I have some of Jennifer's background as my background, some of Jennifer's garden as my background. And lots of thoughts filtered through my mind when I was able to be quiet. And that's the first thing that I want to speak to Jennifer about. What does this quiet mean for you? Because quiet means different things to different people. And a lot of us we fear to be quiet. We fear to be with ourselves. And so explain to us or share with us what quiet, what peace, what did you get from having had this experience?
I would say for my mental health, I am definitely and have never been a calm person. I always have issues with being very anxious, always hustling, you know, because I believe it came a lot from the career I was in, being in sales, you're always hustling, hustling, hustling. As a result, I believe my hypertension came out of me not taking time to relax, not taking quiet time. I am always on the go. And I always felt to achieve goals, to reach the targets, I can't stop. Even when I get home, I'm not on the field and I'm home, like my whole mind is racing. It's racing. What should I do next? Who should I go to? I also had a team working with me. So it's always a hustle, hustle. And I remember, but always being told, every time I go to the doctor, I would be told, slow down. And I recall because of my hypertension, I had to use this 24-hour monitor to see when my pressure goes up and what time. And when that was on, for some reason I wasn't thinking, I decided to stay home because I didn't want, maybe pride. I didn't want to walk around because remember, I'm going to clients. I didn't want to walk with this thing strapped on me. So I stayed home and actually relaxed because I knew why I had it on. When I went to the doctor the next day to check on it, my pressure was good. And she said, oh, you did well, Odiana. And when I told her I didn't go out on the field, I was just home. She said, you understand what is happening to you? You need to take this quiet time. Okay. So I started looking for ways how I could really relax. And they will take a day off, right? Just I won't say random. Before, again, because of how my mind works, I take a specific day. So I say like every Wednesday, but I don't have to tell you. Hustling, demanded hustling because Wednesday off. So I'm making up. So it didn't work well. It didn't work well. Then I decided I'm not choosing a day. I will just do it randomly. Anyway, I tried different things. Some worked, some didn't work because my mind always racing. And you wanted, well, let me be honest with you. It only helped when I left.
Yeah.
When I left the career, because I reached a stage, I was so hyper that it had me really sick. Almost, I wouldn't say a nervous breakdown, but I couldn't breathe. I couldn't this. And when I went to the doctor, he said, hey, your next step is you're going to drop down. Make a choice. You either learn to find ways to keep calm in the career you're in or leave. This was serious. I was really, I swear I was on my last. It was a hard decision, but I did it. And in doing that, I looked at the career. That's how I went in and I got certified as a life coach, etc. And I changed. It gave me the well, one is stress, of course. You wonder you're not there again and the money, etc. But I learned to handle that. I'm still on a little journey handling that, but I learned a lot. I released a lot of the things, which is what meeting targets, proving yourself. I was able to release all that and live a more simple life. I embraced, you see what I'm talking about? I embraced the quietness. I embrace you don't need to prove anything. You don't have to be rushing. You don't have to. It's still in me, let me tell you. I'm not perfect. I'm working towards that. And that's, I share that in terms when you would see in the video. And that's why you asked that question. I put myself, time myself. Even if I have to make a call, I have to make the call at certain time. If somebody, I check my WhatsApp all the time, always checking because I feel I have to respond to somebody. You know, I can't hear for my phone to be ringing, ringing. You know, some people say, let it ring. Oh, geez. So a lot of these things, but let me tell you, you have to be made aware of it. Sometimes crisis situation force you to change. I have changed a lot, and I really value being calm and things. And the reason you see my garden is a work in progress, I should say. I love plants. I found, of course, you look for things that could bring that calmness to you. And I felt I love outdoors. I always like walking and things. And I find when I walk, me alone, you know, nature around, I could clear my mind. When I sit quietly watching the plants, I can't just sit, I have to watch, I have to watch something. All this, I still have to do that.
Correct.
I'm not good in terms of people say meditate and your mind completely clear. No, I have to have vision. I have to see something, right?
Yeah.
But the gardening, wow, dealing with the plants, um, talking, watching, and seeing what it is doing to me. The fruit trees. I love when you say I go pick the pawpaw, pick the mango or the guava or whatever it is. That that puts me in a completely different mood. All right. I'm aware still that I have a lot of things to work on, and I shared that, as I moved around. But I'm working on it. And as I get older, I appreciate more and more that first to just take that time out, relax, we all different, of course, find
Yeah.
ways to relax. And as I shared, I have decided that I watched my mother for all her years and us growing up. And she always, I mean, it's in those days, of course, they work hard, they have a lot of children to see about, etc. But you know what she did all the time? She did a lot of crocheting. She'd bought, as older in her later days, the adult coloring books, things that allowed her to sit still. She
Yeah.
didn't get enough. It for she could spend 2, 3 hours just doing crochet, just coloring. She listened a lot to spiritual type music, but things that to keep her calm. And I always felt by things that I would be fussing about. And she would say, why are you fussing? Relax yourself. And I would say, people could say what they want, relax, but they don't know the amount of things you have to do. I saw the wisdom in that. So I really plan to do some because I say crocheting that's so old people know. It's not that's not correct. So something like that. when I was ill, I was scared. I mentioned that I was scared. I said, "Oh God, I'm not dead anymore, and I have so much thing to do and all that." And my daughter said to me, "Mommy, you know your biggest issue is you're not relaxing because my pressure went sky high after my surgery. Why? Because I was restless and worried and all that." And she said, "Try this now. Just put on the soft music, sleep with her, breathe." Now, I did yoga at the time and it worked. But you know, when you go through, you just didn't have
Yeah.
time for those things. But I consciously did some deep breathing every night. I did the deep breathing. I listened to the music and I reframe my words and psych myself up, saying, "I am good. You know, I'm in great health. God," of course, you're not praying, right? Praying, right? But it helped. And coming out of that, which is more recent, more than ever, I go out every morning. I would go in the garden area in my space there. I have my breakfast. I relax. I go walking first. I do exercise. So, but after that, I sit there and I would have breakfast. I would relax. I would listen. I have a lot of birds sitting around and really calm myself, talk to my Lord, be grateful. And that's all the thing I do a lot now. I wouldn't even want to call it a gratitude journal, but I sit and I give praise for life, my friends, and everything. So, yeah, it's critical. I am still on that journey. Yeah.
Yeah.
I reach where I want to go yet, but I have come a long way. And yeah, so that's what I will say about being quiet and calm.
Well, it's important that you said that because people sometimes misrepresent quiet. And quiet doesn't always mean that you are still. And you said it, which is true, right? Because there
Mhm.
are some people who say that they are quiet, but they're disturbed because they,
Yeah.
as you say, your mind races and you're not
Mhm.
settled. The thing is that you are using quiet as a way to make yourself smaller to fit into spaces or disappear,
Mhm.
which is not the intent of quiet, right? And I'm
Mhm.
glad that you expanded on it because you also spoke of ways in which you enjoy your quiet, your journaling, your meditation, you're having your breakfast. So you're talking about your health and nutrition. You're talking about your
Yeah.
mental health. You're talking about your spiritual health. So there's a lot of those elements which make up wellness in your quiet.
Yeah.
But also, there's something that you are saying there, and I think that I want you to expand on about quiet not being selfish. Because a lot of people would believe that because you have chosen to give yourself this time and this space, with the whole world busy all around you and people having expectations of you and feel that you should and you should and you could and you would,
Yeah.
you have taken yourself and put yourself in a position where um, you now look at yourself as your first priority.
Yeah.
How do you help people who want to make this shift from serving everyone else to self-service? And notice I'm not calling it self-serving. I'm
Yeah.
saying self-service for restoration purposes. What are some of the things that you could share with us to help us recognize that what we're doing is necessary in this act? It is absolutely necessary.
So I would say how what I do and what push pushes me to become like that. I'll go back a bit because right through our lives in the workplace, depending on what type of career you're in or what job we did. In my case, it was always helping people to be better, putting myself out, and because you're doing it before you feel good, but but we do it to be rewarded. All right. So, um, I had to, Maureen, illness forced me to, to think
Yeah.
differently. Yeah, let me tell you. If I didn't, and this is not my recent cancer diagnosis, no, before that, I ended up, must say, about 3 occasions in hospital because of my pressure being so high. All right. And because I can't breathe, and when I say I can't breathe, and then the doctor say, when I say the pressure, it's not that, it's anxiety. It was anxiety. And all because when I look back, it's because I'm putting myself out for others. Because I want to be the best manager, the top this, you understand? And I want whoever I'm responsible for or those who are looking up to me, I really want them to feel like, yes, I have helped them. I almost like their savior.
Yeah.
So I would say be careful with that. We have to be honest with ourselves. Look to see, why do you feel that you have to put yourself out the way to help that person, but you're putting yourself out the way. You're not happy about it. You're not happy.
Putting yourself
You
at
don't
risk.
want, yeah,
Mhm.
you don't want to go so far. You don't want to drive in the night. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do that. And we do that talking about our age group, right? But you still doing that. And you ask yourself why. And I believe most of the time is because we are people pleasers. We want to please, and our reward for that would be they're looking at us, they need us. You understand? We
Yeah.
feel needed. Um, so I would say check, we have to check ourselves.
Mhm.
And we have to recognize that as you move into different phases of life, you have to change. You must make some changes. Things we used to do before, we have some people say, oh, I'm just healthy. I feeling like if I'm still 20 or 30. Hey, you may be feeling like that, but you have to conserve some of the energy, store it up
Yeah.
for down the road, right? So that's one thing we have to look at. And it is so important for us, if we don't really, I want to say love ourselves, really, I talking about you actually like, and I believe that. I watch myself in the mirror and I say, Lord, thank you for who I am. I not looking at features. I not looking at a want me nose straight or me hair or nothing. I am blessed that I never focus on the physical. I mean, I like looking good, but I never make it an issue
Correct.
that are not nice enough or not something, right? So it is important for us to embrace who we are, whether and stop reframe. You look on some, still somebody will tell, oh gosh, I have a friend recently tell me, Taylor, look at my arms, look at my arms get, look how flabby this is. Stop criticizing ourselves. We judging ourselves in a negative way. And I would recommend rephrasing that. I look at myself now with Terrier. I have gone through that, I lost a lot of weight, right? So somebody say, oh good, your neck looking much more wrinkled now, or your clothes hanging on you. Now people are not sensitive. They feel by telling you that somewhere along the way, they motivating you. some just being bitchy, if I may say so. So we have to strengthen ourselves. And to do that, I would say for me, how I've done that is look and say, okay, they're telling the truth, but they're aging. This is what happening. I look at, okay, how do I want to look? Me, to please me. Which look makes me feel comfortable? Not what the others think. Whether it's in style or not, whether it, whatever. Which look will make me feel comfortable when I leave my house, or even if I'm in my house, a bold face, when I'm in my house, I hate old clothes, right? Um, I feel good. I am not dressing for anybody. I feel very good. I love who I am, and when you send out that positive energy to people, it comes back to you. Every time I say I really have beautiful friends. I love my friends. I have a friend who say it's because of who you are. It's because of the energy you send out. So I
Yeah.
will keep saying that. Anybody will tell me, oh, Jennifer always says she has beautiful friends. Yes. I love my child, I love my family. I remain focusing all the time on positive energy. When something happens that is not I'm not happy with, I look for something in it
Yeah.
to make
Yeah.
myself happy. So I would say we should focus, be honest with ourselves, right? And one other thing, Maureen, we have to be clear what we want in life, how we want our life to be. And if we say, and I always say, I want to be happy, I want to be healthy, I want to be very active out there enjoying myself. If I want that, I have to create that environment for it. So I am choosing, I know if I want to go and knock about, I know the friend I could call and they say, yes, and let us go. If I want to go, if I'm this time of Lent and I want to do a spiritual journey thing, I know who to call to do that. You understand? So I am not going to call someone who don't like to go to the mall to go to the mall for me and then I'm complaining. No. The other thing I can do, and we should learn to do it, many of us don't seem to be able to do it, is that there are things we want to do, we cannot get somebody to do it with us. I think we should really try and go alone. And when you go alone and you meet others who enjoying that same activity like you just fall in place. So basically, that's it. Love
Yeah.
yourself and continue doing the things that will keep you on that journey that you want to be on.
Right.
Yeah.
So in again for the audience, some of the things that you're saying, I'd just like to put it in a capsule. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, one would be self-love versus
Yeah.
self-hate, right?
Yeah.
Because you're very clear about that other people's opinions do not inform who you are or what you are about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have to say they do challenge you. I mean, I don't, a lot of people say, I don't care what other people say. That's not true. That's
Yeah.
not true. The initial intervention based on where you are in your cycle. And there are people who can read people's energy very well, and
Yeah.
misery loves company. So this whole issue of mindfulness becomes exceedingly important, which is what you're exercising there. When
Yeah.
you say, listen, while other people's opinions are their opinions and it doesn't define who I am. The other thing you spoke about, which is very true in your growth path, and we need to continue to do that, is positive affirmations.
Yeah.
And those affirmations must be grounded in truth, right? Because there are
Mhm.
people who affirm dreams. But I always remember that my father said that Bob Marley sang this song that, you know, dreams are comfort to a fool. So and when he said that, I always wondered, but you have to have dreams. And I asked him, I said, but you have to have
Yeah.
dreams. He said, yes, but those dreams have to become goals, otherwise they won't become realities.
Yeah.
Right? So in your affirmations, clearly the affirmations have to be reasonable, attainable, things that will inspire and allow for growth and development. And the third thing that you said, which is something that people need to be mindful of as well, is the fact that you have to love yourself before you can love anybody else.
Yeah.
And so, your company, you taking yourself on a date, you taking yourself on an
Yeah.
outing, you experiencing something which you have not experienced before or may have experienced before, but with other people, of course, because when you go to something and you go with other people, the way you experience something is influenced by what they
Yeah.
attract you
Yeah.
to. So there are some people who could monopolize a room and who could, you go with a particular intent, but they kind of like carve this out as their opportunity to shine or their opportunity to show how much they know
Yeah.
or their opportunity to entertain. Like if you need their permission, you didn't ask them for it and you really didn't want it. But the gracious human being I know you to be, it's not like you're minimizing yourself, but it's a question of, are you going to engage in negativity when you have come out
Yeah.
here to have the time of your life, right? So, one like Terrian, and I'm getting to know Terrian a little better. And Terrian, by the way, my son said he just loves you. He finds you should talk to me more because you're very direct and whatever. I don't subscribe, but we will see how we go with that one. He said, notice that lady is very clear. Whether you like it, don't like it, it's a business. But no, not you. Well, he said, no, it's very annoying. It's very annoying. You need to stop that. I said, okay. So again, learnings, people give their views. Now
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that in all that we're saying here, we're asking anybody to be different. We're not asking anybody, we're not telling anybody how to be. We're saying, listen, open your mind and your thoughts to empowering yourself to be, and it's not anything about a better version of yourself, because I hear people talk about that too, about being a better version of yourself. But if you don't know who you are, then which version are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that you sharing that, spending quality time with you, um, is peaceful, is educational, is rewarding, and it gives you an opportunity as well to make different choices.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that's the next thing that you are sharing with us as well. The importance of chances versus choices. Because you are not leaving this to chance. Your beautiful
Yeah.
garden is not by chance.
Yeah.
It is a mindful choice that you made, and you're willing to do the work, and you are going to continue to do the work.
Yeah.
And whether other people like it, don't like it, whether they feel that they're taking you away from them, or whether they think that, oh gosh, maybe, the sun or the moon, or why are you so invested in this? The noises of the world are not intruding on your agenda for yourself, which is remarkable, right? That is therapy in itself. So,
Yeah.
Terry, and I feel that I have monopolized the conversation with my good Jennifer. Terry, and take the wheel. Take the wheel with your direct self. Let me hear you.
Well,
Because I know you have some
your
thoughts
son
there.
met me at the meetup. The viewers have seen me all the time.
Oh, that
But
meetup is fantastic. We'll talk
yes,
about that too.
just now, when I looked at Jennifer's video, what struck me is that how often we morph into a discussion that we start on one point about the beginning, but then we jump over and we get to the end. And we are now talking about this Jennifer that loves herself and everything like that. But it struck me that because of a real near-death experience, and she did almost die. Dead. Dead because she was a workaholic. Dead because she was a people pleaser. Dead because
Yeah.
she did not focus on herself and look for outward validation. And when you talk about you are driving to make the best for your employees, it is that your life is driven by outward validation, and it
Yeah.
landed you in a place of extreme hypertension. And sometimes when you watch the movies and you see people getting nervous breakdowns and getting into those near-death experiences, you put them in a sanatorium and you tell them, watch the grass grow to calm yourself down. And I literally, the garden that you showed and you pointed it out, took years. That ivy wall, the ivy wall struck me.
Yeah.
4 little plants turned into a whole wall. That meant for years, you looked at that grass grow on that wall, one leaf at a time. And it struck me that had it not been for the crisis of nearly deading,
Yeah.
dying, you would not have stopped. You would
Yeah.
not have changed course. And the lesson in that for us is there for so many people. You paid attention to the cacti sitting in its pot, small, not bothering with environment, covered with its little web. Your orchids didn't succeed the first, the second, or the third. They suddenly came up. The struggles with getting the fruit trees right, and what also struck me was the imperfection of the garden that showed you came to a place where a tree will have dead branches.
Yeah.
And a garden will have a hose scattered there. But Jennifer original would have been totally intolerant of that. And all that seeking perfection and wanting perfection and not tolerating the thing being perfect caused you to nearly dead from anxiety, hypertension, and stuff. And
Yeah.
most people who do a turnaround like that, they hit a wall face first, bust something nose, bust something. So you had your equivalent of that. And thank God you were able to have the consciousness to create your own sanatorium where you could go and watch the grass grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that is such an important lesson for us, because we are not strong. And I often tell Jenn on the show, it's easy to tell people, get the family together and have a meeting, be honest and chat. That is not easy. It is not easy. Pride stops us.
Oh, yeah.
Status stops us. Just competition between people. You don't want that person to know your vulnerability. It stops us. It's only if we nearly dead that we
Oh,
switch around. And Jennifer, I thank God that you had that near-death experience when the doctor tell you, "Look, leave that work." And it's not only leave the job, it's leave money, leave status, leave power, leave influence, leave being known and being recognized and being seen, because it was taking your life and you saw death
yeah.
door open.
Yeah.
It wasn't closed and you see the door, you saw it open. So you had no choice but to change. And what I hope the viewers recognize is that's the river you went into to cross to get to be this person
Yeah.
who we see today. It never comes with effort. And so many of us, and when we start talking about the meetup, we'll see we live for the external. We live for things outside of us. we are busy competing, and like they say, the duck swan come at the top, but underneath is going like crazy, and the hypertension, the diabetes, the not weight loss, and parts of your swelling, and palpitation, and we know we're going towards death's door. But why, Maureen, I will put this question to you. Jennifer got to the door and the door was opened. And she had enough in her life, be it her children, be it her grandchildren, to say pull back or took the risk of high firing this walk, it could kill me. But Maureen, many of us walk down the path. We know we on the path, and we know the door at the end of the path is death. But we don't come off before. We only come off when the door swing open and you see the flames. Because if you see Peter, you would keep going. But if you see the flames, it stops.
Yep.
It stops you.
Yeah.
What I always want to explore is what is the draw? What is this sweetness about external validation that causes us to sacrifice ourselves so badly that we end up ill, unhappy, miserable? And why do we have to get to the open door?
Yeah. And the thing about it is that I think a lot of this is rooted in fear and not faith. Now, Jennifer has a lot of faith. And people with faith, even though they
are
have,
the journey too.
that is part of the journey. Exactly. Exactly.
It developed as part
It
of the
develops.
process.
But the thing is that the foundation is there within her socialization, because her family life, she spoke of her mom, and one of the things that even though her mom, and I knew her mom as well, her spirituality was that's where her root was. You could tell her about anything else. If she, when you go there and stuff, if it is that she doing her church music or whatever, no conversation was happening, because you will wait till the music finish. Sure. If you have time, well, if you don't have time, go ahead. Right? But she was very specific, and I think part of this whole discussion has to do with intention. You have to be intentional. Yeah? And things only become real to you when they affect you. And a lot of us don't spend enough time on any one thing to understand how it affects. What is the domino effect that having had this one experience, how it trickles. And the other thing too is that a lot of us, because of how we look outside and not inside, we try to justify why things happen to and Kubler-Ross in psychology talks about it. He talks about the grief process and the fact that some of us are stuck on that treadmill at certain points in that experience. So it's a question of where are you in your life cycle, right? Because we can all be the same age, but we are at different places in our life cycle. Sometimes when you hear adults communicating, for example, they're stuck in childhood because the content of the arguing and and what they would bring up, and it certainly is not relevant. It's not relevant to me as a participant, but at the same time, I cannot be judgmental and say it's not relevant to them, because there's some triggers and other things there which remain unfulfilled and unresolved. And anytime they hear anything sounding like, looking like, presumed to be like, that is the default, right? Because we all have defaults. We all have a default in terms of our behavior and our actions, our attitudes. So when you're talking about change, and that's another thing too. For a lot of people, they talk about change, but what they want is exchange.
And
right?
I wonder, and I don't wonder, I have, it's not a wonder.
Yeah.
I've come to the position that most of us really don't like ourselves. We don't like who we
Correct.
are. We've invested a lot into creating facades and masks,
Imagine,
and it's all in the it's how we use our money. And you talk about how somebody uses their money really reflects what they are about. And when you
right.
look at how they use their money, the things that really impact their life, they don't spend a lot of money on it. Because sometimes your house run down, things could happen. Your space could be much more beautiful and much more comfortable. But it is yours and it is private. So you're not investing in it because it's going to enhance your own well-being. But you invest a lot in the superficials and the
In the
physicals
aesthetics.
and the
Yeah.
Yeah.
aesthetics. And
Yeah.
you don't stay true to yourself. And then when you come back to the less than perfect space, the space that doesn't represent you, you stay with that misery, and then you get up the next day and you put on the whole mask to show a world that really not paying attention to you, that
Yeah.
Yeah.
you are fine. And I think one of the saddest things that anyone can face on the third act of life is still not being comfortable with who they are, because this stage
Yeah.
that we are going on does not require a mask. The second act needs a persona, because you're in
Yeah.
career, you're a parent, you're a spouse. You have to tell the world who you are. But when that is done and you come here, you are by yourself and with yourself. And I really, really do hope that the inspiration, Jennifer, that people get is they see that demarcation between Jennifer originally and the crash that happened to cause this garden to become your tool. It
Yeah.
was your lifeline to pull on to and pull yourself back to who you are. And I just loved how, looking at the plants, the different categories of plants, whether it was the cacti, the mango tree, the water feature, things in their natural environment just being as they are. The
Yeah.
palm lower branches would be dry and bend down, but the upper ones are flourishing. The flowers blooming in their season and in their time. And for us to realize that as we get onto the third stage, if we don't do that work while we are transitioning, to take that mask off, put it away, and let who we are bloom and be. Be. Bloom does not mean pretty up and fix up and make a new
Yeah.
mask. Bloom means let it be as it is meant to be by its creator, which is beautiful. We will we will not be at core happy. And I really do appreciate, Jennifer, your doing that video in the way that you did, because the connection with plants and nature, I see how paying attention to them, you left yourself and you went to the plants, brought
Yeah.
you back to what you truly are. And everyone mightn't choose a plant, it mightn't choose what, but the exercise of just forgetting yourself and letting yourself emerge, forgetting your mask and letting
Yeah.
yourself emerge as you are is so important for us to become
Yeah.
people who we like.
As well
Yeah.
as using the energy from those plants to nurture you and also to
Yeah.
revitalize. Because one of the things about when I looked at the video and I saw that that ignited something in me too, Jennifer, was the fact that they, even though you might have symmetrical breast, you don't have to have symmetry in everything in your life. And the
Yes.
way in which
Yeah.
you embrace your garden, it says, listen, everybody has, each one of these plants have a space here. They have a right to be here. I am going to give them the attention that they deserve. And also I am setting up something that other people who may not have had an inkling as to how to start, I am giving them a showpiece, or I am giving them an opportunity to recognize that nothing is beyond them. Because that's something too with a lot of people at our stage. We grew accustomed to running on a treadmill in a particular direction with a particular pattern and having a particular outcome. Here you are, taking yourself out of your niche and out of your comfort zone, and getting into an area that that says, listen, we could all die or we could all live. But I choose life, and therefore, if I choose life, you all are part of my living symbol, and therefore, I'm going to nurture you just in the same way in which you are nurturing me, right? And that is something too that people have to, in our season, have to recognize that reciprocity is important. You can't only be a giver, and you can't only be a taker, right? Because yes, we all have needs, and yes, we all have desires, and yes, we all have disappointments, but we have to surround ourselves with balance. And when I looked at the garden and I listened to you, I'm hearing that, balance is important, but balance has to be created in a way or at a time when you are prepared to do the work and make the investment, and also that even if all else fails, the effort would still be rewarding.
Yeah.
Right? Not rewarded, but rewarding. Right? Which is really something that, again, another lesson that you're giving us here. Because some people say, I don't know where to start.
Start with 4 little ivies and a blank hole. Give it
Start
time.
where you're comfortable.
4
right?
little ivies and a blank hole. Give it time. It will happen.
Start with a piece of paper and a pencil and start drawing. As you said, Terry, and about, no, it was Jennifer who was talking about a vision board, because a lot of the visions we have in our head, if we don't bring them to reality, they remain thoughts.
Yeah.
They remain wishes. They remain, as I said, dreams. But what Jennifer did was, yes, the catalyst, and I want to say this too, because Serian spoke about it a bit. The catalyst would have been illness, but the drive was wellness.
Death.
Oh, yeah.
Not illness. Many of us are ill.
Death.
It's death.
Death. You love that.
Many of us are ill. We can live with illness.
The catalyst was death.
We can live with illness. We have proof we can live with illness.
I don't even know that some people can't even live with illness, because some people just feel that is the end. Some people don't even try.
Yeah, but they will die. They will die. But many of us are tolerated illness because it's not carrying us close enough to the door.
We caught it. Yes, we caught it, and hope that things would. Yes, some medicine, or whisper in the pharmacist's ear, and they'll give you something, right? So, but what I'm saying is, Jennifer, I want you to share a little bit about discomfort, because a lot of the reason people don't take the next step is because discomfort brings with it fear and anxiety, and it destabilizes growth. So share with us, how, even if some of us may be uncomfortable with making the first steps, how that propels you, if in fact there was ever an element of discomfort in the decision and the choice that you would have made, and how that certainly could propel you to be so comfortable and happy that you now realize how much you was missing out on.
Let me answer quickly, Maureen, on discomfort. It's just because sometimes discomfort is forced on you. You don't really want the discomfort. In my case, the discomfort was more shame, you're giving up. Discomfort is when you have to give up something, your
Yeah,
comfort zone and things. But
yeah,
I would go back, um, you know, sometimes unexpected things happen to you. Um, and you have to be prepared for it. All I can say for us now, if you're looking back, I had no choice. The discomfort, I didn't ask for it. It happened. And you have to do your choice. Again, you make choices. You either deal with it and move on, but you're moving on because you have a vision for yourself.
yeah.
And
Correct.
again, you go back to faith saying, hey, God is me and you going down the road here. So basically is none of us want to be uncomfortable, but no, that is the only way you could get on the other side and for growth and learning. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Great. So thank you, Jennifer. That was
Yes, thank you,
amazing.
Jennifer.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
And
welcome.
you would realize that all of us are sharing Jennifer's backyard because you will see that we are all seated in different areas that you would
Yeah.
recognize from our chat. So one day we'll all get together again and pay more attention to Jennifer's backyard and her garden and draw our own lessons for how we survive.
Let me just say
So,
quickly, we have to be vulnerable because Terry, and I fussy about everything in order and things. So I really wanted the gardener to come and fix up and prune everything. And then I say, you know what? It is what it is. I love it like this. I don't have to prune and, do everything. So yeah, we should allow ourselves to be vulnerable too. Yeah.
great.
yeah.
Great. So thank you. Good. So, friends, last week, we had our first meetup. And whew, Maureen, what did you think of that meetup? I would let Maureen describe what went on and what were her thoughts of our meetup. But first, let me say on behalf of Jennifer and Maureen and everyone, thank you everyone
Thank you.
who turned
Thank
up. Who turned up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, Maureen.
Yeah.
Yes. So the meetup was exceptional. It was the exact way to start engagement and certainly get people involved and animated. It was a very animated discussion. And I must say that in the
Yeah.
meetup, we didn't only have us, our age group. We had these young up
Young
and
people.
coming people who felt, well, they had a voice too. They were invited, and
Yeah.
we invite all of you. We're not segregating and we're not discriminating. We had males and females, but some of the younger ones certainly did spike some attention
Yeah.
and some information and some deep conversation. We had some revelations. There were some people too who had indicated that they wouldn't be saying anything, and
Yeah.
um, we couldn't get them to stop sharing, right? And the sharing was not a babble. The sharing was with intent. It was appreciated. It was people were vulnerable. And it means that the agenda that we had set out, which was to create a safe space and allow for conversation on sensitive issues raised by the participants, was achieved. So it was a
Yeah.
great start.
Yes, Jen.
No, I totally agree with Maureen. For me, I read the feedback, of course, because we have the WhatsApp group that was created to give feedback. And the feedback was really so positive. I actually got calls from two persons who told me, listen, that they're so happy that they came. They felt they weren't alone because listening to people sharing, and sharing in a situation, they could not believe it have other persons who in that same situation. And it was just, they felt comfortable and of course would be coming back and want to invite some others because people tend to be a little scared still, to attend a group like that. And she said she felt very safe, as Moni said, safe space. So that was good. The other one mentioned again, she was smiling because she was one who had texted me and said, I'm joining, but I'm not saying anything. And she said she couldn't help it because a point was made that just hit home. And she had to say, she said she felt she had to say something. So it was really a nice, very informative, very relaxed. I like the atmosphere was a relaxed one. It was you wouldn't feeling like you're feeling any no pressure at all. No pressure at all. So I'm looking forward to the other one. I am looking forward for other persons to join us and to participate. And we talk about growing and learning. And that's the other thing, the opportunity to be in a session with persons who sharing freely to me and discussing subjects that may be taboo. That's something you just don't talk. So you wouldn't share it with a friend, you wouldn't hear it with in a line. This opportunity is a great one for those who yeah, concerned about certain things, but maybe ashamed to talk about it, they can come and listen. And maybe when they listen, they can do like what the other person said. They may be pushed to say something. Yeah.
Mm.
So it was really a great session.
Yeah. I think one of the things that stood out for me is that what we talked about was starting as we discussed on our last show, but it's the new year, it's 2026, and
Yeah.
really getting people, when people introduce themselves, we fall into the usual trap of talking about others. So you
Yeah.
start talking about you, but that's not comfortable because it's better to talk about us in relation to others. And when we pushed the envelope for people to give people permission to look at themselves and talk
Yeah.
about their own process, that it wasn't selfish and it wasn't bad, the realization that this transition to the third act, this transition process out of career, family, whatever it is, to this last 20, 30 years of life that we paid no attention to is frightening. It's frightening. And one of the things that came out to me, especially from the feedback and the discussions, people were almost relieved to see that I am not alone in this state of
Yeah.
uncertainty, in this state of questioning what is my value, what am I going to do, how do I do it? Do I make myself beholden to parents, to children? Do I have permission to be me? And I think that gave the impetus to a community, because a community always needs to have the thing that binds it together. And I really like that. I really like that because it gives us something to grow on and grow into. So we definitely know and anticipate having a lot of fun on our third act. And as we said, we welcome you coming off of this conversation that we've been having today. And people came with their journals and their book and their journaling. And when you join the WhatsApp group, and we'll flash on the screen the QR code you could use to join the WhatsApp group where we have our meetups and where we discuss things on the meetups. People are ready and willing to do their journaling, to set their journey straight, and it's a beautiful community. So I was very happy that our gamble paid off, and it paid off well. So
Great.
Yeah.
thanks again for those who were there. Yes. Yes. And we were all ourselves. People got to know me, they got to know Jennifer, they got to know Maureen.
Yes, that's for sure.
Yes. And your son thinks I'm the crazy lady. Yes,
Yeah.
I am.
He didn't say that. He said the direct lady.
So
He said Auntie Jennifer is love. She's still love. He said Auntie Jennifer is still love. I said, yeah, she still is.
definitely. But we had fun, and I think today was also fun, and we really do hope that you all appreciate this new format. You're going to learn more about us, and if you want to dig deeper, and next Wednesday is going to be the
11th.
of March, we are going to have our meetup. And again, the meetup is going to be based on self-discovery. Everyone has their journal and they're journaling. Maureen is giving us questions to guide our journaling on our WhatsApp chat. And we are all going to have another great conversation. People I will ask you to look at Jennifer's video again, and what struck you? What struck you in that video? You know, for me, it was the 4 ivies turning into a wall over how many years, and those little cactus just sitting there with some will say ugly, prickly cells, but being very happy in that context. All therapeutic. So we look forward to seeing you. So,
Okay.
Jennifer.
No, I just try to be saying bye for now and really looking forward for, for you all to check the video, give us some feedback, and definitely the QR code, as Terian said, would be put up now. So you can join the WhatsApp group, and we see you on the 4th. The 4th? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Maureen.
I just want to say thank you for sharing your time with us, and we don't take it lightly. We know that you have other things that you could be doing with your time, but you chose us over whatever else, and for that we are grateful. So see you next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care. Good.
50 Plus Tribe, and follow us from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye for now.